Hi, Professor. Please forgive this look. It's been a 15-hour workday. I'm very tired. And I worked overnight, which is why this post is going up late, so I do apologize. So, for week 2, I have found it to be so very interesting. I'm so very much loving this class and everything that it has to offer, and we're only, finished week 2 into the 3rd week, so it's been very, very exciting. I do have my book here on the side of me for reference, which is I'll be looking back and forth. So this week, during our reading, I have decided to talk about sin. So in our reading, in chapter 14, on page 151, from the Christian Doctrine by Millard Erickson, it states, God does not always prevent sin. At times, he simply wills to permit it. Although it is not what he would wish to happen, he acquiesces in it. I think that's how you pronounce that word. By not preventing the sin we determine to do, God renders it certain that he will indeed commit it, but he does not cause us to sin or render it necessary that we act in this fashion. This is probably, but most clearly by the Lord in Psalms 81, verses 12 through 13. So I chose that specifically because when I was growing up, I did not always believe in Christ, and I have mentioned that in a few of my discussions. And as a non-believer, I thought sin was just a way of life. It was a choice. It was something that we did. And as the years went on and I learned about Christ and I discovered my own relationship and felt my faith with him, I then also learned that you can be forgiven for your sin. So, to answer number 1, select 1 or 2 ideas from your reading and discuss how you've seen or encountered them thus far. Sin is everywhere. I have seen sin at work. I've seen it through my own family members. I have sinned before. I don't understand how the Bible's teachings talk about sin. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't understand how the Bible's teachings talk about how you can sin and they be the worst possible, but if you ask for forgiveness, you are forgiven. So I think that ties into question 3, what don't you still understand from your reading? I am a firm believer that the sins that I have made or the sins that people have done, as long as you ask for forgiveness, you will be forgiven. But my question is, are you truly ever forgiven? How can you do something that is so devastating? And the first thing that comes to mind is murder. How can you willingly kill somebody but ask for forgiveness and it be okay? Question 2 is one of the new things that you learned from this reading. So I never knew that God would allow sin. And I'm only getting it from this text. It's really the first time I've ever seen it. I've never heard anybody actually say that God allows sin. But after reading the discussions that we've had this week and interaction with our classmates, it makes sense to me. But from a theological perspective, I don't understand. Again, it's all new to me. Theology is new and it's so very interesting. So personally, if I created sin, I feel bad on it and it haunts me, and I can ask for forgiveness, but I don't ever truly feel forgiven. So a prime example is at work. It was almost a 15-hour day, just like I finished. I was so extremely exhausted, and instead of putting my all into my work, I decided to make shortcuts, knowing very well that my shortcuts could affect my work actions, the people that I was helping. When you follow a protocol or procedure, you want to make sure everything is done correctly so that the patient is well taken care of, and then everything on my checklist, my good to go checklist, is taken care of. And there was a time when I wanted to cut corners because I was so tired to me, I felt like that was a sin. It may not be necessarily a sin like that's highly, rated bad, but it was a lie. I lied. Like I said, cut corners. So I felt devastated, and I couldn't sleep right. I couldn't walk into work the next day knowing and thinking that everything was okay, because I knew that I had taken shortcuts. And as a manager, as a trainer, taking shortcuts is something that we very much, steer away from. So how can I feel okay knowing that I did wrong just by asking for forgiveness? I'm still lost. I still am very much lost when it comes to forgiveness. I spent time in the military, and I had never been in war and never been in a war zone and had to physically hurt somebody. But if I did, how could I live with myself? And I think that's why a lot of people do suffer from like post-traumatic stress disorder, especially people who have been in like a war. So that stuck out to me the most out of the entire chapters that we did have to read. Sin is a big question on my mind. Sin's everywhere. It's all around us. Sometimes we may be sitting and we don't even know it. How does God, or why is it okay that we feel this way asking for forgiveness from God? Why do I still hold on to that? Like I'm doing something wrong, like it's not okay. So that's kind of where I'm at. Again, I'm very much enjoying this class, and I'm appreciating all the teachings that I'm getting just from an online standpoint. I like these video journals because it's something that I can hold on to and look back on even after this class is done. So if you have anything for me, I would love to maybe hear a little bit of your perspective on it, on why is it okay to sin and ask for forgiveness but still feel bad about being forgiven. Okay. Thanks. Bye.